All right, so now I'm going to be going over the prompt engineering techniques, and here's what I'm going to go ahead and actually do. So I scored a 5 out of 6, which is 83%. Okay, you can show the answers, and you can see this. You wrote a prompt, you tested it once, it worked fine, and deployed it to production. Your main? What's the main risk with this approach? And I actually recorded this, but unfortunately, Loom, it took it off. But I'll walk you through the entire process of what I did. One of the toughest things to do, I've already passed the Claude API 1, which is up here. And you could see that was the one that I actually did earlier in the week. I scored an 87%, right? So when I went through this, it is just, I think you have to focus on how your brain actually works. Going through this from the top down is brutal. My brain functions going from bottom up. So even though I was coming back into this, I've been procrastinating. In the previous session, you'll actually see it. I wrote down a bunch of things right here actually, I don't know why. I love writing on cardboard. But I go through so much notebook paper because as soon as I touch anything electronic, it's so easy for me to get distracted. It was easier for me to start from the very bottom up than like the top down when I was coming off. This is the Google Doc for my previous prompt right here. If you've been watching my whole series, you'd actually know. I couldn't prompt it from like top down. I had to go from bottom up. So that was actually one hack right there. But what I did was I started from the very end, and then I walked through the answers as I thought I should go. These are the incorrect answers. Correct answer, correct answer, correct answer, correct answer. What I did throughout this entire process was I need some context in how this thing is going to show up on the exam. Let's just say I'm a very athletic person and I'm decent. Well, let's just say I'm a very athletic person and I've never played soccer before or like rugby. I need some concept of like, you don't just tell somebody like, okay, there's going to be a lot of running in this game. There's going to be a ball. And you should be running and you should work like, you need to see the end first and then you kind of work your way back. What I did was I popped in all of this, and instead of blowing my Claude credits, what I did here was Google Gemini is a little bit more forgivable. I've set up the following: the CCAF non-tech strategy coach on my Gemini. Why? Because I could pop as much shit in Gemini as possible. And here's what I basically got. I popped everything here into Gemini, and I had them explain to me the answers, but I also had them explain to me the trap in which one. So I would let it know which one I think is that I'm gonna go for first, and then I would go ahead and actually copy this. So I'm not just like, what's the answer to this? I'm prompting into here, and I was like, I think the answer is this. Now I'm kind of working my way backwards, and then it doesn't seem as intimidating versus, holy moly, you got to go through all this. This is 3 hours worth of freaking video on your life, right? And you have no idea how this shit is going to pair on the exam. So I have people here with the technical background. They are just blindly following the directions, and they're just going through this. They take the quiz, still fail, and then they're figuring out what the answers are afterwards along with all the explanations. And sometimes, like any other multiple choice question, this like any other multiple choice exam, this shit's designed to go ahead and trick you. They're like, well, no, because you could literally have a conversation, which I did with the machine. I'm so bummed out that last week video didn't record over. And it says, I could see why you think that. And we've been playing that game as long as multiple choice quizzes have been around since the 3rd grade here in America, right? It's not the answer you think, it's the answer they want. So be smart about it, because when you see 85 lessons, the first thing you're going to think is, hell no. You want to go ahead and think about, this is all a productivity game and it's mental. If you try to brute force it and people are like, but do that. Is it working out for you? It's not. It's probably not, right? I'm trying to help you help yourself. Try it another way. And that's actually why I think a lot of tech founders are actually they don't come from a non-technical background, because the first thing is like, oh, you gotta like forget the rules, okay? Rules are meant to be broken. You see all the winners out there, they break all the rules, right? Go and start from the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and actually cut you through my process from all of this. And I'm gonna go through it, and I'm gonna get the API one done today, because I still have Claude Code and MCP tomorrow, and then I got agent skills on Sunday. So here's a little bit of a hack. I would recommend you go ahead and use it, but let's go ahead and get it, folks. I'm going to show you how I'm going to be approaching the rest of it very, very, very soon. Actually, after I take a break, because this took mad brain energy out of me too.